G'day, I'm just a guy riding. Today we're heading out west from the inner suburbs of Melbourne in Footscray out to suburbia, Deer Park. We're going to be riding along the train line, specifically the Sunbury line, and there's an awesome bike path that runs for most of the length of it at least. We're going to ride through Sunshine Station. Here we're coming into West Footscray station.
Oh, it's 5 degrees, it's freezing, and then I went outside and I was like,
This shared path runs along the entire train line effectively, as you're headed towards Sunshine.
So I met him at 5:30, so... Alright. As in, like, how much progress is there?
You can see in the map infographic on the top left that on the other side of the fences here on the left is a train line. Living in car-dependent Melbourne, it's often easy to forget how good we actually have it cycling-wise. Of course, I wish infrastructure was better, there was better options, and things were safer. But we actually have wonderful paths, wonderful connectivity, if you know where to look.
Careful, it's wet, it's like a bit icy maybe. Me too. It's suburbia.
This often gets referred to as the Sunshine Railway line. As I've mentioned, it runs along the railway all the way through to Sunshine. Today we're riding with Billy. We've got an event out in the west, and we thought, why not ride instead of driving? It's a cold morning, hence the gloves, hence the coat on Billy that you see there. But it's a lovely day. And it's these days where it's a cold morning, there's no cloud cover, and you know it's just going to be a cracking day later on.
We just go straight, past the roundabout. We're going to cross the train tracks at some point.
Here we're coming in towards Sunshine Station. Sunshine Station's a transit hub in the western suburbs. Lots of connecting buses, number of train lines. To the right there you can see the Parketeer, bike parking. We have to navigate Sunshine a little bit, a place I've spent a lot of time in the past, before we pop out the other side of the train tracks, and then we're able to ride along Forest Road into suburbia.
We're going that way. We're going that way, okay? Apparently, yeah. I didn't know how to stay on that path. Oh, it's a path of closed, yeah, right, cool. Did you see what happened at Barclay Street yesterday? I drove? Go. Yeah, cool. And if it's compounding.
You'll kind of see over the next minute, and you can kind of see on the map graphic as well, that negotiating the train tracks here is a little bit awkward. Despite these good bridges and paths and underpasses that we're about to come through, that you're about to see here, It is a little bit convoluted. We were a little bit confused.
There's a ramp.
And probably not the most direct or time efficient route.
This is the route that I would have gone on. I think this is the route I saw.
As always, I'm grateful to have good shared paths, good bike paths.
We're going to go straight, I think.
But I think trying to cross the train
it's
tracks
on
from
right,
Sunshine
you're
Station,
over,
there could be a better option, better solution.
I like this kind of side. It's like a real urban.
Oh, me too. That's so
Like,
cool.
it's like it's ugly, like it's concrete, graffiti, and highway, but like.
Can we go this way? Yeah. Pretty sure we go this way. And then we turn left up ahead. We went underneath them. That's why we went on the
And that brings me
bridge.
to, I guess, my main point of discussion, which is my sheer love-hate relationship with Melbourne and Melbourne cycling.
There's no traffic anyway.
I'm fortunate enough to have travelled a lot and been to many different countries. I have great perspective when it comes to the city that I live in and cities worldwide. I never take for granted how wonderful of a city Melbourne is. The amenities that we have access to, events, sports, our quality of life, living conditions, work conditions. And like I mentioned earlier, our bike paths are pretty decent as well, until you get thrown onto the road here, protected only by these orange cones. Melbourne is one of the great cities of the world and has been voted most livable city numerous times and is consistently in the top 3 or top 5. I believe Austria, or Vienna I should say, is currently leading the charge as most livable city, but Melbourne is one of the top cities. We're safe, we have opportunity, it's a fantastic city. But as you saw towards the start of this clip, getting spat out onto the road and then navigating our way onto this bike path before being spat back onto the road which you're about to see, there's a lot to be left desired about Melbourne's cycling infrastructure. Like much of the Anglosphere, Melbourne and Australia are very car dependent. And it is a way of life that we do not understand without.
Oh, I fucking nailed that guess.
It took an urbanist radicalization, I believe, for me to come to this realization. To, I suppose, see how trapped we were into our car-dependent lives. I grew up in the suburbs. Getting my first car, getting my driver's license as soon as I turned 18 was a huge milestone, something to be celebrated. It meant that freedom was coming my way. It meant I could go where I want and do what I want. In fact, I remember the first day that I got my driver's license. I borrowed Mum's car and I drove to one of my best friend's house just because I could. When I look back at that time of my life, I realize I used to ride to my friend's house all the time. So I always had that freedom. But it was never a comfortable ride because, again, we lived in the suburbs. With every passing minute in this video, we're heading west. Further away from the city centre, further away from the glorified cycling infrastructure that we have in the inner suburbs, and towards suburbia, where options are reduced and things become even more car dependent. You can see here how the bike path just ends and we get spat out onto the road.
Bike lane ends out of nowhere. Cool. What in the... You can go. So before that ramp was there, you would turn left here.
The sad thing about this route is that this is the route that Google Maps suggests. And it's like that because there's actually no other way to get where we're going on two wheels. This single lane, high speed connector road is the only way to get to our destination. I think even for a confident cyclist, this is not a comfortable route. You can kind of see here I'm riding relatively defensively on the right side of Billy as the more confident rider. Not afraid to impede traffic a little bit if necessary, of course not wanting to.
And this is going down to Deer Park train station.
There are so many reasons to love riding, and there are so many reasons to love riding in Melbourne. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you too like riding. It's probably because you too like being outside, bucking the trend, doing things your own way. But when you live in spaces and environments and cities and suburbs that do not give you the opportunity to make choices or to choose how you want to go about living your life, and instead are effectively forced into driving, well, that's not the cities. Those aren't the cities. Those aren't the suburbs that I want to be in. And you can just see how unpleasant this entire section is, really. Again, we're still riding along the train tracks to the left.
This also used to be a level crossing on the left.
And it's very common to have
You see the train tracks?
bike paths and cycling infrastructure next to train lines. It makes sense. A lot of people, that tends to be a route that people are traveling, and it tends to be people that might be wanting to ride their bike to the train station. And so it is disappointing to get to this point here where there's just really no options. And so it is a love-hate relationship I have with Melbourne, because it is a fantastic city. I love this city. We are fortunate, we are blessed. But that doesn't mean that we rest on our laurels. That doesn't mean that we accept things the way they are. And that doesn't mean that we can't hope for more and strive towards more, to want things to be even better.
Ardeer? That's impressive.
It can feel greedy a little bit. It can feel privileged. It can feel a little ungrateful.
Yeah. What level was that? When?
But ultimately, we just want the best city that we can have for everybody.
That would have warmed you up. What's the time? Oh. Do we go left here?
So thanks for joining me on my first ever video. Still a little clunky, still figuring out some details. I got this camera angle a little wrong. I would have loved for it to point up a little bit. Figuring out some overlay stuff. If you've got any advice, feedback, or comments, please let me know. I'm just a guy riding.
scales.